Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the Friday, August 8th edition of the Daily Pulse, the show that keeps its finger on the pulse of Lowell and the world around it. I'm your host, Teddy Panos, coming to you from the WellPoint Studios, joined on this Friday by my fellow pod squatters, the Pod Squad, Mike Bacigalupo to the left, Michaela Hondras McCarthy to the right, Batch and the Hyphen.
Ironically placed once again.
Yeah, again, we're going to get Michaela to the left.
Yeah.
And Batch to the right.
Well, I should be in the middle.
Although, yeah, I'm starting to worry a little bit about both of you.
Oh,
Because
really?
I think Batch is becoming the lefty of the pod squad.
Absolutely not.
I'm worried about you, Michaela. You're,
Really?
yeah.
Batch is like more right than I feel like he's ever been.
I'm all over the place.
You are, you know what? I respect that about you. You are all over the map. I will say that. You are.
I don't know. I can't look at him the same since that Falcon episode or Owl episode, whatever the hell he was hugging those birds.
He loves nature.
I love
he
the nature.
loves nature. The nature.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys here. Busy week at Inside Lowell. We like to review it. Lots of other things that we want to review. And yeah, we're going to go not just Lowell, but we're going to go around the world as we keep our finger on the pulse of things. Let me first thank our sponsors, Ray Booten, licensed realtor in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, certified appraiser in both states as well. So if you want to buy or sell your home, your business, or a commercial property, Ray Booten is your man. And you can find him easily enough online, realestaterayBooten.com. That's realestaterayBooten.com. He's got 2 new listings coming on the market next week, so keep an eye on realestaterayBooten.com. Also, keep an eye on InsideLowell.com. We'll put them out there. Thanks as well to our friends at WellPoint, the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members at WellPoint. Your whole health is their whole point. We thank Ray, we thank WellPoint. We'll get to the other sponsors in a little bit, but let me start with a correction. I have to say that I was wrong.
About climate change?
No,
all right.
More right than ever about that.
Okay.
There's our YouTube warning.
Get out of the
All we
way
have to
early.
do is talk about mRNA vaccines, and we may get this taken down. But I misspoke the other day when Jerry Nutter and I were talking about the upcoming election and campaign finance contributions. And I said that...
it was a good show, by the way.
Thank you.
I like Jerry's entertaining.
I've also seen Jerry's Sunday Notes column for next week.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, good.
The curmudgeon is back.
I love that he's doing that.
The curmudgeon is back. So look for it on Sunday mornings, Nutter's Notes. But... we were started talking about campaign money and funding and who's financing which campaigns, who's a legit candidate, who's not. And Jerry mentioned something about, on top of what I had said with former city manager Eileen Donahue. I had said she gave Belinda Duran $1,000, which somebody told me. I hadn't checked it yet, which I did say, but while only giving $250 to Erin Gendron and, to my knowledge, not giving to either of the other 2 candidates in Belvedere. Jerry said I had heard that too, but he said it was like a 2-to-1 margin or whatever. Anyway, Erin Gendron reached out. She said, I think I know where the confusion is. We've already given the name Eileen Donahue. So she gave a $250 check, not a $1,000 check, to Belinda Duran.
Okay, that's a big difference.
And then she gave $125 to Erin Gendron, but her husband, who has Eileen kept her maiden name, her husband gave another $125 in his name. So both campaigns got the same amount from the Eileen Donahue family, which I wanted to clarify. What was interesting, though, is I'm like, well, where did I make this? How did my source get this so wrong? So I looked. There was a Donahue who gave Belinda Duran $1,000, and to my knowledge, did not give it to any of the other Belvedere candidates.
Oh, who? Tell us.
Well, I mean, it is a public record. So it was Nancy Donahue, the other well-known Belvedere Donahue. So she did give Belinda Duran $1,000. So I think that's where my source and I may
mixed up,
crossed our signals and whatnot. So, but I did want to put that out there and clarify.
Jeez, talk about a tomato thing.
I know, but
it's a 2-to-1. But that's good that Erin reached out.
If I say something wrong, I want to correct it. And also, it's not fair to Eileen Donahue because it intimates that she's playing favorites in that race.
Sure.
And she hasn't publicly, and she certainly hasn't with her family's donations. But then now I'm awake. It's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm awake. Right?
That's what wakes you up in the morning. Is
So, what wakes me up is I have to go take a piss.
oh, sure.
I'm about to hit 60. I get up and take a piss, and now I can't go back to sleep. So I see that text from Erin from last night. I start looking to see where I screwed up. So I'm like, well, let's take a look and see how much money everybody else has on hand. And some interesting stats out there. Again, all of it is public record. OCPF, the Massachusetts Office of Campaign and Political Finance, puts all these things out. You have to disclose them. By the way, I also found out how much an airplane ad costs.
How much? Wait, can we guess? Wait, can we guess?
Take a guess how much it costs to fly an airplane with a banner.
Price is Right rules.
50. No, I'm gonna go 2,800.
2,800.
If you're over, it's bad. I'm gonna say 500.
Are you now? Is that your real guess, or you just
That was my
not to go?
no.
Over?
That was gonna be my
500.
Real guess.
So Batch is actually closer than you, although he is over.
2,500.
It costs $1,900 to fly a plane. Which so to give you
The gas alone.
Francisco Maldonado,
Solar.
who's got
Solar plane.
It's an electric plane.
Francisco Maldonado has a ton of money in his campaign account, which is the first thing that jumped out at me. So I started looking at his reports, and he flew a plane over Lowell. Like you see on the beach, plane, an advertising message, try Marquis or, Bud Light or whatever.
Yeah.
Try what? Markley's?
The clam.
Try our diesel fumes.
Yeah, take a sniff of these diesel fumes.
Did the plane fly on corn and friolator oil?
Try, Marcus.
So anyway,
Just go around Kim Scott's house.
So Francisco Maldonado, who's challenging John Dakota on District 8, flew a plane in Lowell, and somebody captured a photo of it with the steeple of City Hall in the plane.
Yeah, that was a great
said,
shot.
Maldonado for Lowell or Maldonado for District 8. And someone sent me the photo. He paid $1,900 for that. By the way, Cisco, much better bargain on InsideLowell.
Wait, so for $1,900, you can fly, can you put...
You can fly a plane over Lowell. I'm going to guess maybe it's more expensive to hit the coastline, Seabrook, Hampton, Salisbury.
Oh, I can think of a lot of things I'd like to fly over Lowell.
You could pull together some money.
Oh, that wouldn't be bad at all.
$1,900
pretty quickly.
To waste? Well, yeah, why not? For a laugh? Hell yeah, I'd do that.
I mean, if you got 20 people, it's like $200 each.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
I spend a good amount of money on folk festival T-shirts. I wouldn't mind doing a plane.
You may have spent $1,900 on folk festival between your shirts, your food, and your drink.
Now he's got an idea.
Look, it was a unique idea, and it caught attention because people started posting it on Facebook. I think it ended up on Lowell Live Feed Forum, so all the Marxists in the city
I said it would have been better to put it behind a helicopter, so it would have gotten on helicopters over Lowell.
Yes. Oh, that would have
helicopters over Lowell fly. Feature those as well. Maybe change their names.
So I looked.
Aircraft. Over Lowell.
I looked and it wasn't on there because it wasn't a helicopter. Now,
that helicopters over Lowell, it's
awesome.
Immediate. You see a helicopter, you go on. Someone will have already posted
it's
about
a great
it. And
site. It really is.
The flight path and everything. It's the best.
So now John Dakota did something, but it only cost him $50. He put a sign behind a bus and drove it really fast. But he couldn't get to Collie in under 3 hours.
Well, not from Pawtucket. So speaking of Francisco Maldonado, so I looked, he's got a lot of money on hand.
Yeah.
And I'd already seen, he's already spent close to $2,000 just on that, plus signs and all this. Because when you're a first-time candidate, that adds up. You got to create new signs and whatnot. So he's spent a lot of money on his campaign. But he's still got a bunch left over. He's raised a ton of money. So I started looking to see who his donors were. And he's given himself so far $16,000.
That's a lot of
really
money.
To run for city.
What's the normal, where is that compared to everybody else?
I didn't see anything similar on the candidates that I looked at. I haven't gone back and looked at prior records or whatnot, but that's a lot of money to spend. By the way, he's not married as far as I know of. I don't think he has any kids.
Oh, there you go. Why not?
Why not, right?
And you're allowed to do that. You can give as much money to yourself as you want, right?
Look, he worked as a police officer for long enough to be able to retire. in the city of Lowell. I think he served in the military. I think he was.
So he's got a good retirement then.
So what is he, like 35?
He did. No, he wouldn't. He would have only gotten 80% if he retired at 35. But he's got a DJ service that he goes out and DJs functions. And
Did you say he's got a lot of is he on CAP now? Did you say?
As a DJ?
He comes in. Jerry Nutter was saying that he's like a regular call.
Oh, really?
CAP.
Who's on in the morning there?
The ice cream man. Gary
Okay,
Francis.
all right.
So I don't know. I stopped listening. Now I listen either to Jeff Cooner or I started listening to Scott Jennings' podcasts.
Oh, a little shade.
So I used to, when Nutter was on, I listened every morning.
Yeah, he's good.
I'd take it to the bathroom with me. I took my shower, got ready, took the kids to school with the morning show on.
Yeah.
Jerry Nutter would give. I would learn things. I got a company that follows Lowell and reports on Lowell. Jerry was giving me information and news.
It's great having a live show, right?
It's great.
Speaking of which,
Wait, so that's a lot. 16 grand.
16 grand.
Hey, good for him.
Money. And by the way, it's only August 8th. There's still a full month plus to September 9th preliminary.
he could give himself
and
more.
then if he gets into November, he's got another 2 months. So,
well, you know what's amazing? So the other end of that, right? So Connie Martin's been a school committee person for what, like 50 years or whatever it's been. And she's been there, like, it's got to be at least 20 years, right?
she's been there as long as I remember.
Nobody spends less on their campaign. And she gets a ton of votes every time. It's kind of like
she's a good school
well,
committee.
she's got it. Her following is like rock solid because she doesn't have to do anything.
So maybe your post-election analysis, how many votes per
that's
dollar.
a great idea. Votes
How
per
many
dollar.
dollars did each vote cost
That's
you?
the good.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. We should put it on a chart.
But the problem,
Yeah.
I don't think school committee people have to file their
No, I think they
their
do.
reports.
Really? That's
they
a
do.
public
I don't think they have to
office.
file with OCPF. City council does. It's this whole thing that Jerry Nutter was talking about, how school committees are like treated as non-existent
Really?
entities when it comes
Really?
to ethics laws.
I didn't understand what he was saying though. He was saying
That's
that
not good.
he couldn't run because
He would have to
there's no
quit his job to run for school committee.
but because there's nothing that says you can or can't.
Nothing that specifically addresses the school committee, so he was told no.
I would think it'd be the other way.
Like city council.
But if like say he did like there's nothing there, so if you're not told if you're not told whether you can or can do something, then you can do whatever you want.
And people have
Ask for
served
forgiveness, not
people
permission.
have served on the school committee while also working city jobs, right? Andy Dakota was a teacher, right, in the Lowell schools, if I'm not mistaken.
And that should be allowed.
Mike Dillon was.
Oh, yeah, he's a firefighter.
He's a firefighter, right? But he was a city of Lowell employee, which Jerry is now. So
I think you should
those
be
things
able
are
to.
Stupid,
Yeah.
to be
Don't
honest.
you want to be represented by people that work in the city? I feel like that's a good.
Well, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a
but if
conflict,
you're a
I guess,
Teacher, it's Eileen Del Rossi had to step down.
I see.
She had to go get a job
Well, that makes sense,
outside
'cause you
the
can't-
district because you're deciding your own budget and you're.
But if she was on city council, I wouldn't have a problem with a
Correct.
teacher being on city council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So.
Oh, we got to do this per vote, cost
love
per
it.
vote.
All right.
But that's good for he believes in
Remind me,
himself.
because I'll forget by November.
Yeah.
5th, I'll have forgotten.
No, it's a good.
But we can at least look at the preliminary field and see
Yeah.
how those.
Dollars per
what is
vote.
it?
There's 10 candidates.
When is the primary, by the way?
September 9th.
Oh, that's coming up.
Is that's right. You know what? On the pod, Scott, we're going to call it a primary.
Goddamn
'Cause That's
primary.
what it is.
Preliminary.
It's not a preliminary. Everybody thinks of them as primaries. So there's 3 candidates in the Acre, 3 candidates in the Upper Highlands, and then 4 candidates in Belvedere. So there are 10 candidates. So we'll be able to see how much each vote cost these candidates.
We'll have to bet on it before.
We can do like guess versus actual and see who got the closest.
The price is right.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
This is exciting.
And by the way, we should enjoy this new system of representation here in the city of Lowell, right? It's only in its 3rd election now.
I mean, the
right?
district.
The district started in 21, 23.
I think it's working.
This is only the 3rd election. Because by 2027, it may go away. Or
Why?
at least the majority-minority districts.
Did you? I just read the other day, and I don't know why I read this stuff, but like that, the minority. Am I saying that right? What is it?
Majority-minority districts.
That it was, somehow that was fixed too. Like people are,
So
come on.
If you go to InsideLowell.com, to me that was the biggest story, potentially the biggest impact story that we did all week on InsideLowell.com was last week, while everybody's fighting nationally over the Texas redistricting,
Oh, yeah.
last week the Supreme Court indicated that they want to hear more about Louisiana's redistricting. The state of Louisiana is attempting to create a second majority-minority district, and people want to challenge it. They're saying it's unconstitutional based on other rulings now, the affirmative action rulings, the Supreme Court basically saying racial discrimination of any kind is unconstitutional. Well, drawing political districts, congressional district lines based on race, it stands to reason, why isn't that unconstitutional? The Boston City Council in 2023, the city of Boston tried to redraw some districts, and they were slapped back by a federal judge, not even the Supreme Court. They were told you considered race, quote unquote, too heavily in drawing your districts. So they went back, they redrew it again. I don't know if they considered race less, didn't consider it at all, and they got their plan approved. But if the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately says we should probably look at this case, and then come next June, rules that, yeah, it is racial discrimination, even though you're doing it to account for what you're trying to correct wrongs from the past.
So that was my next question. Like, are they trying to do this to correct unfair drawing of district lines in the past?
Yeah, so it goes back to the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And I got a quote from City Solicitor Corey Williams on that. He thoroughly looked at it. He said the Boston case is totally different. That won't affect Lowell. Louisiana might, depending on what the court does, and then we'd have to go back and look at it. So the Voting Rights Act was, look, they were discriminating against black people. They were, they're trying to keep them from voting. They were doing all
they
these
split
subtle
the
little
neighborhoods
things to
up,
vote,
right?
split neighborhoods up. Yeah. And in order to fix that, there was, Articles 14 and 15 of it, but also Section 2, if I've got it correct. My constitutional lawyers will correct me, I'm sure. Said that, that allowed them to start drawing districts in a way where you could have a majority-minority district to make up for the fact that historically minorities were not properly represented.
Yeah.
Okay? But now when you're saying, well, you can't discriminate based on race. So if you can't discriminate based on race of any kind, whether it's against black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whoever.
No, white doesn't count.
Well, the white is starting to count out. Did you see the former Channel 4 news anchor, Kate Merrill, saying she got fired because of racial discrimination?
WBZ lady.
Yeah,
right?
WBZ Boston.
Yeah, there's a Globe article about it.
But so anyway, if the Supreme Court takes this up, and there is some legitimate thought that, well, if you can't discriminate, if affirmative action is no good in college admissions, is affirmative action good anywhere? In hiring, in drawing district lines or whatever? And it kind of harkens a little bit to the Texas battle as well, but not as much. But if they rule that it's unconstitutional, then those two Lowell majority-minority districts on the city council side, District 6 and District 7, and then the District 4 on the school committee side, which combines the Acre and the Lower Highlands, those would be unconstitutional and would have to be redrawn, not based on race, but based on something else.
Based on like what? What else?
Can you do it on geography?
Geographic lines? I mean, look, they did
a really good job,
right?
Yeah,
But
they screwed up the sausage district.
Right. If you look at downtown, you got a little bit of downtown, you got a little bit of back central. You go across the river to Centerville and Pawtucketville, so that one's a little funky. But the minority district makes sense. You can easily
Lower
connect
Highlands,
the Acre
right?
and Lower Highlands.
Yeah.
Now, connecting Pawtucketville to Highlands,
no, that doesn't.
I guess the Rourke Bridge does. So you could
that'd be
it's a very expensive connection.
Right?
But the Lowell kind of did
$303 million
and counting,
which we may talk. There could be an X on that.
Oh yeah,
one
there's
and a
a
new price
new
tag.
shirt. It's gerrymandering is bad, right?
Yes, great. We can all agree on that.
And the
right?
fact that they're trying to make it, the Republicans are doing, like, everybody's done it. Do you know? By the way, you know where it originated?
Massachusetts invented gerrymandering.
Yeah, we invented it.
Really?
By the way,
Yeah.
why it was comical, and I know you want to praise Governor Healy today, Ben.
Oh God!
But it was comical when she stood up there the other day with these renegade Texas lawmakers who left the state.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have a quorum.
Well, weren't like some of them going to be like arrested?
The Texas sheriffs are threatening to arrest
so that's
them.
scary. Like that is like
Well, they're not
not
doing their job.
But that's not putting people in jail. Like we're a democracy. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, so how does a democracy work? Your elected representatives show up and vote.
have to
right?
vote. Like,
They don't
Sure.
just leave so you can't have a quorum to vote.
yeah.
It would be like the high school location debate if enough counselors didn't show
So you're
up to
arresting.
take the vote.
So you're threatening to arrest and
Well,
put
they're
people
trying to
in
bring them
jail.
back, but I think they're just trying to drag them back into the.
Does this not alarm people? Like
What's alarming to me-
I feel alarmed
No, what's-
living in a.
What's alarming to me is that
country.
you'd have an elected official decided to, we're just going to leave, like just trying to
I'm
obstruct.
going to take my ball and go home. So,
Right.
so we can't get business.
So
done.
don't elect them next time. I mean,
No, you got to. I would just. I'd say they vacated their thing.
So there is some thought that the governor can vacate those seats. Again, it's going to be tied up in courts for a while.
But I mean, let's just get rid of gerrymandering. Like you or have some rules. Like after the census comes out, you can redraw, and the census should be like it says in the
census should be
Constitution.
legitimate, right?
Yeah, and it should be
Not doctored as it was in 2020.
and do like here's districts. Get rid of whatever. Like imagine like you couldn't do like hey, we're gonna do a white male over 50 districts. Like people would lose their shit, right? So like
We call that the Well Point Studios. Michaela's on diversity, but she loses every election.
yeah, I mean you can't do it that way, right? So let's just stop it, right? Because it first of all it delegitimizes government, right? And it just makes like a lot of people like just angry.
Yep.
And then the fact that they're politicizing this now, every party has done this, right? Can we just stop with it's the Republicans doing it, it's the Democrats. It's just
So, to your point,
it's fucking
gerrymandering was
annoying.
invented in Massachusetts. And Texas, if their plan goes through, the Republicans stand to gain 5 congressional seats in the next election, which also translates to 5 electoral votes. Now, Texas and a bunch of other states feel they got screwed in the 2020 census by it getting delayed so that Biden's people were counting the numbers and ultimately counting illegal immigrants in the census instead of not. But in retaliation for what Texas is saying, now all these Democratic-leaning states, Gavin Newsom says he's going to do it in California. And Maura Healey this week said, well, we're going to do the same thing in Massachusetts.
so it's kind of a tit for tat kind of thing.
So, but here's the thing. Is Maura Healey that stupid, or does she think you are? Those of you who are like, yeah, let's do it. How many Republican congressional seats are there in Massachusetts?
I don't think there's any.
None.
0. How many have there been in the last 2 decades?
Yeah,
None.
not yeah.
0. Name me the last Republican congressman out of Massachusetts.
What's his name there? Scott Brown.
No, senator.
He was
Oh, he was a senator.
Name the last Republican congressman out of Massachusetts. I can't definitively.
No.
over my-
Nobody can. In other words, Massachusetts has had every one of its congressional seats, whether it was 9, whether it was the 10 we had prior to 2010, whether it was the 11 we had in 2000, the 14 we had back when I was a kid, whatever, all Democrats. So Maura Healey's going to redistrict it to teach the Republicans a lesson. How?
She's just
By creating all Democratic districts?
Is there a way to just get more electoral votes?
you can't. There's
No,
no.
you can't. You can. That's based on your overall
Well,
population.
they're trying to keep them. That's why they're bringing
Right,
in.
they should be down to 8. We should have lost a seat in 2020,
Yeah,
but they counted illegals.
They
and-
truck in bodies,
but,
put them in storage, and count them for the census.
Whoa.
But and then I started thinking about it. And I'm look at our own congresswoman's district here, Lori Trahan. She goes from Haverhill, maybe Amesbury. I got to look at it. I got to look at that map more specifically, out to like Leominster and Fitchburg, doesn't she?
It's a big.
Yeah,
That's
it's
kind
messed
of
up.
that's a wide.
It
Yeah, it's
is.
That's a
ridiculous.
wide swath. Like, does that make sense?
No.
No. And then you look at some of the others and you're like, this is insane. Why are they drawn like that? Look at Chelmsford. Look at what they've done to Chelmsford for 30 years.
Isn't it split?
Chelmsford used to actually elect Republican state reps. Now they've got 3 different representatives. It used to be 4.
There's only 20 I think it's 20. I might be wrong. There's only 20 state reps that are Republican, and
Yeah, and 4 or 5 senators.
they're all from Western Mass, I think, for the most part.
But
Okay.
they completely they destroyed Chelmsford. So now Chelmsford has Rodney Elliott has a piece of Chelmsford, Simon Cataldo, and Jim Arciero. But they divvied up Chelmsford in a way that there were 3 heavily Democratic communities, and it used to be 4 because Van Howard, Dave Nangel's seat used to have a chunk of Chelmsford. Instead, they switched it to Tewksbury. Ironically, they did that after 2020, which is when Van Howard got elected. Where was Van Howard living, by the way, before
I don't know.
Tewksbury?
Oh, really?
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
So you want to talk about gerrymandering?
I'm not making any. I'm not making any.
Well, it's good that
I'm not making any Tewksbury jokes today, Jenny.
I think it's good that we're looking at it.
See in her look.
Oh, yeah. Stay away.
I have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
get in trouble.
No idea what you're talking about.
Anyway,
But
It's good that we're looking at the system, right? It's good, but like,
Well-
who draws the rules? Who decides what's
It's
fair?
bullshit.
Who's something that looks funny to one person looks totally normal to another person?
It should be way harder to. You shouldn't be able to manipulate the districts that easily.
yeah, if you want to do
Every
it
10
locally,
years-
I guess okay. But when you're deciding congressional districts, representation in Washington D.C. plus electoral votes, I mean, now gerrymandering starts to get a
Yeah,
little.
it should be once
criminal.
every 10 years because you have to, right?
Yeah.
Like
For the census.
Fine. Well, yeah. I mean, because you might lose a seat, or
So who decides? Who should decide?
it's the
Well, there's a census bureau that does it, and it's supposed to do it on the up and up. But I know there was a big push. I remember people coming into the radio station when I was there, trying to push for people to answer the census. Don't turn them away if they knock on the door. Please mail back what they send you.
Yeah.
And they specifically mentioned if you're an illegal immigrant, you need to answer your door. You need to fill it out and get counted. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's doctoring. That's cooking the books. And as much as I'd love to see Massachusetts gain congressional clout, how about we do it by not scaring everybody out of the state and replacing them with people who are, struggling to make ends meet, just so we can keep congressional representation.
The only counter argument I can make, and this is a problem for me, is that if you're an illegal alien, you are able to get a taxpayer ID number and you do pay taxes.
Yes, that's
Some of you.
I was gonna
Yeah, and so that's kind of like,
just do it based on who pays taxes.
yeah, I kind of feel like if you pay taxes, then, but should they be allowed to do that?
But
So there's some questions.
Are you allowed to get a national ID card, or is it just because Massachusetts?
You can get a
'Cause
you can get a national tax ID number.
Can you?
Yeah, it's wicked easy to get them.
through the state or through the
Feds.
Fed? Really?
It's really easy to get. The IRS collects a shit ton of money from illegal immigrants.
Yes.
Is it as much as as the government subsequently shell out?
Probably not,
For
but like,
those who aren't getting the tax ID.
I have no idea. But you gotta remember, like,
it's $1 billion here in Massachusetts.
well, I'm sure we're behind on that, but like, yeah. So it's kind of a weird, like, it's a mixed message, right? And again, I'd prefer they, whatever. But like, it just seems it's a mixed message, right? We're gonna collect. So if you pay taxes, you should get representation. So maybe you should count in the census, but still, you shouldn't be letting people in illegally so you can bump your numbers up in the census, which is what happens in Massachusetts. So it's, I don't know. I'll tell you this though, Massachusetts, people talk about friggin' no kings, and they talk about like the authoritarianism of Trump and everything.
Yeah.
We live in an incredibly, and I never thought of this until DZOG. I saw one of her like there was a clip on was it Mass Citizens Alliance or something?
Fiscal Alliance.
Mass Fiscal Alliance, and which is great, by the way. But she was talking about how the audit was voted for by the people, and
State auditor.
State auditor DZOG. I'm sorry, DZOG.
That's bad. She calls it DZOG.
Every step along the way, she's gotten resistance. She can't get the Attorney General to represent them.
To do her job.
Yeah, and it's just the Supreme Court.
She's fleeing to Paris while all the Texas legislators are going to Massachusetts and Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Our governor and Attorney General go to Paris.
Yeah, and then
week.
so like it's like
Do they?
she described and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember things that well, but like she basically described Massachusetts as a authoritarian government. And I'm like, what? And then she starts talking about it. It's like, you've got both branches of the legislature are controlled by Republicans.
By Democrats.
By Democrats. You've got a Democratic government, a Democrat and governor, and you get the Supreme. Like
She said all three.
all there's no resistance. There's no checks and balances. And you'd think, oh well, yeah, but that's just what happens. And I'm sure they're all doing their jobs, but they're not. They're doing things,
Like a mob, like authoritarian.
Authoritarian, yeah. And you look at it, like, think about what's happened in this state in the last couple of years.
They're afraid of the light. Transparency scares them.
Yeah,
Why?
no
You never
transparency.
lied. Why are you afraid?
And the best, this is best, another DZOG thing that came out was that,
State Auditor Diana DeZoglio.
so
For those who don't know, Batch is on a first name basis.
when they were doing, when
She
she
gets
was
a batch
doing,
nickname.
A nickname basis. Yeah.
when she was doing the audit of, I forget who it was, maybe it was the housing department, whatever
Or the
department.
bus. She did the LRTA audit, didn't she? Or
She
not
did.
LRTA, the MBT or something.
But a letter came out, right? This note, the outgoing housing secretary warned Governor Healy about the waves of immigrants coming in, the asylum seekers, and that they needed to get money, right? This is coming. We need to get money. The both branches of the legislature didn't vote for more money, and then Healy goes on and says, "Well, nobody could see this coming." Like that whole thing has just been blown up. Like they knew it was coming.
Of course they did.
Nobody
because
did anything
Joe
about
Biden
it.
took over in January of 2021. Charlie Baker was still governor, and they started flooding everybody into Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And of course, Baker should have sounded the alarm.
They did.
Instead of
They did. They're like, hey, this
publicly, not in a letter to
What does he
to
care?
Maura
His-
Healey or to whoever.
his
Speak
idiot-
up, Charlie Baker.
Yeah, but you know
Speak
what?
up.
Why would he? His idiot party won't even reelect him because they'd rather lose elections by running weirdos instead of keeping one of the best politicians we've produced in a long time.
Charlie Baker?
Yeah, because he wouldn't have won the primary. He would have lost to some Tea Party idiot or something. But so if I'm Baker, whatever. Goodbye, Massachusetts. I'm gonna go make tons of money playing with the NCAA or whatever he's doing. Is that where he is?
Exactly what he's doing, yeah.
Yeah.
So this lady is she's a friggin' liar, right? And hasn't managed anything well. And
Well, wait, is how you're talking about Healy being
Yeah.
a liar? So how is she connected to Diana DeZoglio being upset
So-
about the
so first,
authoritarian?
so because it's an authoritarian government right now,
Yeah.
any attempt to get the legislature get them audited, the
She's
state has blocked it.
I see what you're saying. I see.
And all the people that work for them, because they're all like,
But could she make it happen? Like, could she push
No,
for that to
because
make it
nobody's-
happen?
nobody's-
The governor? Yeah, she
Yeah.
could use
Oh, the
her
governor. Yeah, the
legal-
governor could.
And the attorney general could
Right.
also use her legal authority
Right.
to force it.
But they refuse to.
And that would kind of like pit them against each other
right,
almost,
instead,
though, right?
the auditor has to kind of try to find a legal way, but she's
doing like a-
can't sue herself, so you would need private citizens to file a suit, but that costs money and whatnot. So, but if imagine if the governor and
She's
the attorney
exposing
general,
it.
who by the way both tell you, oh, we're in favor of the audit, we voted for it.
Right.
Well, if you voted for it, then you think it's allowed. Because if you didn't think it was allowed, you wouldn't have voted for it.
Right.
B, it would have never
wouldn't have
made
put
it
on the ballot, yeah.
Exactly. That's the part.
The fact that it went on the ballot shows that they kind of like bought into.
The auditor said outright, says for the attorney general to say, we don't know yet if it's legal.
And now
As
they're saying,
part
no,
of
no,
getting
no.
your a ballot question on the ballot, the attorney general has to review it and rule on its legality / constitutionality,
Yeah.
which Andrea Campbell did. And then she gets into office.
But she's backpedaling now.
Yeah.
She now, now she's part of the swamp. the
Well, there must be
Massachusetts swamp.
pressure from the House and the
Yeah,
Senate.
so what do they have on her?
And in the meantime, you have this.
What do they have on Maura Healey? What do they have on all these folks
Good
that
for
get
Diana.
to Beacon Hill and change their mind?
Good
Well,
for Diana.
they're all concerned. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, good for Diana DeZoglio for like pushing this. Like that has to be really hard. Like her job has to be really hard to do this.
They've
Like
cut her budget.
Yeah.
They're
trying to silence
her. That has to be so hard.
And look at-
but they don't know her. She's
good for her. That's amazing.
That when that dog gets a bone, it's
Well,
not
look at,
letting go.
and look at the like what happened in this audit. They find this communication that basically shows that the governor was warned about everybody was warned about what was going to happen, and they took no action. In the meantime, in the press, they're like, "Oh, nobody could see this coming," and so they know that when these audits happen, there's going to be shit that gets out there. So they don't want that to happen, and it sucks. Like government shouldn't be so just friggin'
Opaque.
just govern. Like try to.
I'm curious how that audit question plays out, because there were 72% of the people voted for it, which means that's a good number of Democrats.
That's one would say that's an overwhelming majority.
Right. Will those Democrats just say, you know what, screw it and vote the party line?
Didn't they do that already?
When the next election comes, will they vote for a Republican who's challenging?
You mean the voter? You mean the voters?
Right? There's two decent Republican candidates, right? Mike Keneally and Brian Shortsleeve.
And he's the one that sent the letter.
He was the Baker guy, right?
Yeah.
And Brian Shortsleeve. By the way, the Boston Herald, Howie Carr, and others had asked for that documentation, and they wouldn't reveal it.
Yeah.
They made him put a Freedom of Information Act in,
and they still refused.
They refused to do it.
Really?
So
Is that legal?
Keneally's like, screw you guys.
Yeah, but who's gonna prosecute? Who's gonna go after her?
So that's what mass
You can't
physical
just
alliance
refuse.
is.
Yes,
This is an authoritarian state.
There's no no accountability.
So all these people that like to walk on dead people's graves at the Lad Whitney Monument or gather in Chelmsford Center in the town common where I live, with all your signs, no more kings.
Yeah.
Do we have a problem with kings, but we're okay with queens?
Yeah, we're going to start a no more.
Is royalty okay as long as it's Queen Elizabeth and Maura Healey, but it's not okay if it's supposedly Donald Trump?
You know what? She's more of a Margaret Thatcher. That's what I think. We got Margaret Thatcher running around down there in Boston. Sorry.
She's no. I knew Margaret Thatcher.
She's no Margaret Thatcher.
Sure.
But no, I'm just saying, just a terrible, and this is the second, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, when we have a Democrat as a governor, they just don't govern well.
I don't think it's a Democrat. I think it's unfair to call it like a Democrat versus Republican thing.
What?
To your point of well, are the voters gonna now, because they voted 70% and the Democrats aren't doing this audit thing, are they gonna now vote Republicans? You also run the risk of those Republicans getting in office and becoming part of the whole machine also.
As they will 100% do, right.
as they have with the Epstein stuff.
But,
So
the interesting part to me is, are people going to get primaried? Is that enough if you're a Democratic incumbent to face a primary opponent who says, you know what, my opponent won't let the audit happen, I'm going to vote for it. And by the way, I'm going to promise I'm going to do it, and I'm actually going to vote that way. I won't cave, as many people did.
Yeah, everybody but two or someone, right?
Two of our Lowell state reps were all aboard with the audit. And
everybody voted for it.
Exactly. When the speaker said jump, they asked how high.
Is Diana still a Democrat, or she leaves?
No, she's a Democrat.
So if she ran against Healy, which I think she
she'd
will,
knock her out in a heartbeat.
She would. But nobody else has the balls to do it. The only politician in Massachusetts with any, I guess I can't say balls, but with any whatever gumption.
Diana DeZoglio has bigger balls than most of us.
That's it. Everybody else just plays along and does they follow.
They get a nice committee assignment. Which,
It's a system.
They follow the queen.
Get extra. The more committee assignments you get,
you get
the
money.
higher pay raise you
Yeah,
get.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're not going to piss off the Senate
And
president.
this is the state.
You're playing ball with the system that's so entrenched in everything. You have no choice but to play ball with it.
And we have Senate presidents and whatever. People just, we love having corrupt politicians at the top.
We accept
if
the
I
system.
were inclined to run for a state rep or state senate office or governor or whatever,
Are you announcing something?
No, God, I couldn't be elected dog catcher. Although I keep threatening I'm going to run for Board of Health in Chelmsford.
You should.
No, my wife says she'll divorce me
Why?
I might go on the water board.
because our pediatrician is on the Board of Health.
Oh, don't
really?
mess anything up there.
Yes.
Well, that's good. You have a pediatrician on your board of health. I love that. That's wonderful.
It's a wonderful thing.
Good.
It would be-
Well, you got three clients for him.
Right? I had a chance. Michaela set me up, and I didn't say it. I shut my mouth because.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's keep
So who's
everything.
police pediatrician again?
No. Stop.
Just look at the Chelmsford Board of Health.
There you go.
Great guy. I really do like him, and he's great with our kids.
Yeah, wonderful. Wait, so what were we talking about? We were talking about you were saying if you ran for
you were a Democrat, if
Yeah.
you're a member of the Democratic Party, and you support the audit, and you wanted to challenge one of the incumbents, I would make that, and I would also make some of this housing and ADUs and MBTA communities and all this stuff. I would make that a staple of my campaign.
So you'd be
And
more
I
of a
would it be enough? Would the 72% of the people who want the audit, would they become one issue voters and say, okay, you voted against the audit, or worse, you promised you'd vote for the audit, and then once you got sworn in, you changed your mind. Is that enough to topple seats?
I mean, I would take the position of I'm running against the state government imposing things like ADU and the MBTA stuff on communities, taking local control away. You have people that live in these communities have no control of their communities anymore.
Right. Yeah. They hate when Donald Trump does it, but Maura Healey is doing the same thing with MBTA communities. And by the way,
That's always been the case. There's always been.
Not like it is now. It's been I've never seen it. I've never seen.
You
it
need
like this.
state oversight for things that are beyond the purview of city councils or town.
zoning.
You
Do
need.
you need state oversight over zoning? And
So you,
I think
I mean,
I'm not
some
going to.
level, but to order
Some-
ADUs or to order the elimination of single-family zoning,
yeah, that's crazy. That's a
which
huge.
California has done.
No, I hear you. I
Now
hear you
we're-
on that. I hear you on
and,
that.
And conversely,
But there are
the
certain
federal
things.
government is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I think
The
law.
federal government is blackmailing people with money, saying you want to do this and that, go ahead, but you're not getting federal funds.
If I was Lowell, Tingsboro,
Which is wrong.
Chelmsford, I'd be like, hey, you know what? I think we're done. We're gonna go be part of New Hampshire.
Well, Lowell has gone full in on the MBTA community.
Well, yeah, that's
it makes sense for Lowell.
It does.
Lowell.
We have a whole.
Lowell is a
Yeah.
big city.
But not
Lowell is a
Chelmsford?
quote unquote big city. But
Chelmsford?
Drake and
Not Drake?
Tingsboro are
And
not
Milton.
the same.
Milton.
Drake it doesn't even touch the railroad tracks or a highway for that matter. They're just like
But a bus goes through it once every 12 hours.
oh yeah, I mean just
An empty bus.
if I
Sorry,
was
Mick.
no, but you know what? If I was Drake it, I would opt out of the MBTA. You don't need buses in Drake it.
They haven't come up with a plan, but here's the thing.
Not the
attorney-
MBTA, the Lowell LRTA.
Oh, the LRT, yeah. The Attorney General has sent out another threat. What Sunday, Jerry Nutter's column, he put it out that she sent out another threat that you better comply by the end of this year and submit your plan, or else you are in violation. And the courts, of course, all appointed by good Democrats, including Charlie Baker, who I think was a very good Democrat. They
was.
have ruled that this MBTA community thing, the state can impose it on you. So Drake is risking its funding. Tewksbury is risking its funding, and I'm told that perhaps they might be risking school funding as well.
No.
Where then they're really screwed, right? Imagine how that's a tough jump for Healey in an election year, right? Does Maura Healey want to do that in 2026 or wait till 2027?
That's
to
a
do
bad
that?
And by the way, I don't the MBTA thing. If you're talking about the towns that have a station, you want a station that's a big value to your town. Then yeah, you should have to follow those rules.
There's
But
also.
Drake it. If you don't have a station, why? The train goes right by your community. You're gonna destroy your community because of what? It's by the railroad tracks. You know, it's dumb. It's an overstep. If you have a station, fine. You have to follow the rules. But if no station, no problem.
So you're saying an empty LRTA bus, whether the new design or the old design, electric or diesel,
What?
it shouldn't mandate a MBTA.
No, not a
Why?
bus. I'm talking about the train.
Okay, so I want to clarify. You're saying that the bus is not enough. The LRTA is not enough
No, and
to
but
make
if I was,
someplace an MBTA community.
but no, I don't think so.
But
And
you're
if-
cutting
or you
off
could
your
just-
town from like public transportation that they can
how
really
many
benefit
people
from. I mean, I just, it's, I think that there shouldn't be. Yeah, I think the system, like the incentive for the whole thing, the whole system is kind of like, is kind of messed up. Like I will agree with you on that is, but you should build what it's trying to accomplish, right? Is if there's a train that goes in your town, you should build housing around that so that it makes other cities more accessible to people that are lower income, so they can go work in other cities and they can they can live there. You're trying to better life for people that don't have the means to buy their own car and want to live next to public transportation. Like that's all
Right, but they're
a
not
good
going to move
thing.
to Drake it.
They might, like
Listen, do we have to? Does everything have to be for people that are poor, like are whatever low
you
income?
want to raise
Does
everybody up. Like you want to make society.
On the backs of people that have decided to like Drake it. You can go to Drake it and have a pretty mostly life where you don't have to deal with that. Like, is it all about like? Do we all does everybody that has the means or has kind of risen above have to have that like do we all have to share the burden?
Will Drake get benefit? I mean, like
seriously, like,
yeah, I mean,
can
like
you have places where you don't like? I love living.
Sharing the bread. That sounds very Marxist.
Well, yeah, like I mean, I like living in a community. Like one of the great things about Lowell is it's economically and ethnically diverse. I like that, right? But you know, does everybody feel that way? Like it's okay to have a town where, hey, you gotta have an acre of land so you don't have people on top. You're like, why do you have to ruin
in a city like Lowell? Does every neighborhood have to be the same?
Right? Why are we gonna ruin these nice neighborhoods by putting up, you know, huge?
So you just want rich people to live in a bubble? Is that what
I'm
you
not
want?
talking about rich people. I'm talking about being able to buy a single family home. You're not gonna be able to do.
3-bedroom, one bathroom ranch. Like
Yeah,
my
and
father's lived in since 1971.
Yeah, not having 6 renters next to you that don't give a shit. Like there's got to be, like, why is it all about the people that, you know, haven't made it? Everybody's got to like help them along, you know?
Very elitist. Fact.
Yeah, I honestly,
You know, you might be right.
I'm
You might be very
honestly,
conservative.
yeah, I'm just confused.
I know it sounds elitist, but it's like it's always about this
The
group
single,
of people.
not being able to buy a single family home is not because of people that are less well off.
It is if you change the zoning.
There's
And now
a
you can't-
Because Jerome Powell won't drop the freaking interest rates.
well, there's
Well,
a
there's too many people.
disparity. There's a lot that's broken in the system, and I mean, I hate to keep beating a dead horse. I'm going to say what you think I'm going to say, but it's because of like the disparity between like super duper rich that do not have to pay their fair share of taxes. And it's not a us versus them on the bottom here.
How does that? Yes, it is. It is. It's because the middle class.
Why are things more expensive?
Because there's people on the bottom who actually work and try to get their way in to a higher level. They don't always succeed. But then there's a significant number of people who aren't rowing the boat, for lack of a better word.
Fine, but those are not the people that are taking money out of your pocket. Like it's a system.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
where do you
because
think the $1 billion went to house illegal immigrants?
There are certain
last year,
situations,
and probably more going forward, because now we're not putting everybody in a hotel. We're putting them in apartments.
And the rich don't get taxed.
And giving them
we do.
$3,000 away.
The rich don't get taxed. We do.
So and by the way, I feel bad for a lot of these folks. They were promised a rainbow by a senile old guy in an auto pen and our governor, and suddenly they realize, ooh, they got to get us out of the hotel because that's a prime place where ICE could round us all up. So now we spread them out in apartments with this nice program called Home Base, which offers everybody $30,000 a year to get an apartment. What do you think that does for the price of rents, by the way, as we're talking about the cost of property?
It inflates them.
What do you think Uncle Sam giving you $30,000 a year?
Yeah, it's great for landlord. You own property. This is all great for you. But if you're trying to, like, if you live in Drake, why would you ever want to have more people, more multiple family houses? You moved there. You were able to scramble, and you know you're barely middle class. You were able to buy a single family house. Now all of a sudden they're tearing it all down and building 100 units next to you. That sucks.
Well, who wins, right? So like
the developers win.
And who owns all of these housing units that the developers build? Real estate investment trusts, huge corporations. That's if you want to ask about like who's getting screwed over.
So you're saying Maura Healey is for the rich man, for these real estate trusts and investment.
I think a lot of
creating, while she's championing the poor, she's creating unlimited vehicles for wealthy people to keep getting wealthy.
The poor, the vehicle,
funded, subsidized by taxpayer dollars.
And it's middle class taxpayers, because the rich don't pay taxes, the poor don't pay taxes. Who pays the taxes? And the money gets sucked out by the developers.
I agree. There's money getting sucked out of the middle class. I think that I lost my train of thought. I think a lot of what Massachusetts does end up inadvertently benefiting these very large corporations that are buying up all of the rental properties and buying up all of the single family homes even. And so like it has become more and more difficult to buy a single family home as a middle class person, because all of these housing values are going up and up and up. And who can afford to pay those prices? Big corporations. So we all end up becoming renters. Rents get inflated. Equity and money gets sucked out of the middle class, people trying to make it. So instead of blaming the people that you're competing with for rent and housing and all that stuff, blame that system that's creating those incentives.
I'm not blaming the people.
I'm with you, but can we at least acknowledge that those people are the same ones that are lying through their teeth and telling you, oh no, we're trying to help the poor. We're trying to lower the cost of housing. We're trying to create more housing so that people can have opportunity. you're really, I mean, it's been proven that they haven't solved the housing cost issue, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought we got rid of poverty starting in 1960, whatever it was.
Well, it's been a 60-year war on
But
poverty.
everything what you say, like, I'm not blaming the people. It's not their fault. Like, there's a lot of circumstances that make people.
You
know.
said something earlier about, oh, I don't want to live next to renters next door who don't give a shit.
Right.
Like that's
Well, they're not. I mean,
that's blaming the people.
Well, they aren't invested, right?
And neither is the real estate trust or the developer who.
No, they don't get. They don't even. They don't look at the people.
Likely living in Andover or West.
Do you want to live?
Or like Saudi Arabia or
Yeah,
wherever.
you wanna live-
like,
They're not building that
a lot of them
development on
don't
the
even.
cul-de-sac where they and their rich friends.
Hey, you
live.
want to
A
live?
lot of them aren't even Americans.
You want to live next to owner-occupied building. That's the best. The best.
Something
The
to
best
be
thing. The best neighbors are people that own their property.
They are.
And so you're getting rid of that because of what? Because you live in Drake, and you're like a
Why do you
town
keep
over.
using Drake?
Because they're a,
You guys are both living in Chelmsford.
but they
Like,
have
why are you
but
in Chelmsford?
there's no highway
I
in
spent
Drake.
30 years in Drake.
There's no highway. They're not by the railroad tracks. Why the hell do they have to deal with this? And why do they have like what benefit like all right, you say, all right, well, they use the road to get to the train station. Fine, put a fucking toll up in Lowell. But like I'm telling you, it's unfair to these people. It's unfair. If you have a train station in your town, yeah, you got to follow the rules. Other than that, forget about it.
All right. I'm going to end this part of the discussion because we've already gone past your time limit. And we need to get a Honduras hog. And Michaela,
Yes.
Will Michaela be successful in taking down Markley?
That's not my goal, first of all.
Well, let me just quickly thank our Daily Pulse sponsors, all of them. Real Estate Ray Booten, our friends at WellPoint, Washington Savings Bank, banking that feels like home. Thank you as well to TMI Properties, quality and value at every price point. Mahoney Oil, fill her up Friday. Fuel your weekend travels at Mahoney gas station on Plain Street in Lowell. The Greater Lowell Community Foundation, Francis E. Preventure Insurance, and the Massachusetts Pirates bring all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Mill City. All right, Michaela, you promised me you've done a little bit of a deep dive on data centers. We're saying Markley just to pick on you because Markley's in the news in Lowell, but you've been researching data centers.
Yes.
And you've actually you've confirmed what I've been kind of hearing is happening, but you've actually seen real numbers. There are actual data centers in parts of America that are using more energy than the entire town that they're
Or an entire state, yeah. Or an entire, I mean, yeah.
3,600 and something homes for the equivalent of from one data center.
Yeah.
And that's today, not what
They're
data
building
centers or
these
AI are projected to be
Yeah.
in years.
They're
when-
building
when
these
AI
mega
really goes on,
yeah,
right.
they're building these mega data centers. And there's really not, there's although you sent me an article about Tucson saying
Tucson, Arizona, the other
No
night,
to the
shot it.
Amazon.
There was some, and it wasn't the final verdict, but there was
Yeah.
some process whereby the board unanimously voted 7-0
Yeah.
to not allow Amazon to build their data center in
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona. I think there was something about water and something like that.
They use a lot of water.
But there's right, and that was the basis for shooting it down. But
They
there
fixed that
are
issue.
other avenues that Amazon has, and my take is they will ultimately succeed because there's so much money in it that even the politicians that have been on your side when it comes to energy usage and whatnot, they're going to turn on you eventually. They're going to have to. Otherwise, they're going to be left behind. That's my take, and I think the same thing is playing out to some smaller degree in Lowell.
Yeah, I mean, the Lowell example is a really interesting one. And I just have to preface this by saying, like, I'm on the Sustainability Council. Like, these views do not represent the views of the council. Like, this is just me just doing my own research as, like, a energy nerd that's interested
You're
in this
on the
stuff.
Sustainability. You're the chair of the. You're the chair of the Sustainability.
I'm the chair of the
I saw you in a Lowell Sun story.
Yeah.
Quoted,
Yeah.
So-
So
Yeah, I will say she's more interested in finding solutions than she is to blocking things.
You're right. You're trying to find ways to have our cake and eat it too. To have a data center, but also have some type of control over what kind of energy we're using and how much we're using.
Or yeah, I mean, what I'm interested in is like this is a fascinating topic, right? This is something that's growing in the entire country.
It really
Like,
is.
this
I wish people would start paying more attention to what
Yeah.
happened with the Markley Group in the city council chambers in July and what's going to happen in the fall, because it's a microcosm
Happening
of the
everywhere.
planet in America and everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not happening in China because the government's just going to do what they want to do. But
True. But here in America, right, we have a say in what happens in our communities. And Markley has been here for a long time. Like, this is just like, and the people that have been involved in like these discussions have been here way before I even, this was on the map for me. So like there's a lot of learning. I'm kind of just like, I think understanding the full impact of this data center in our city. If you're like what you said earlier about, they're going to not be able to stop these things because they make so much money and they're, whatever. But like, okay, understanding the full impacts of what a data center has on the community around it, the water use, the energy use, the emissions, the natural resources, the land use, like all of this stuff, understanding that full impact and then saying, okay, as a community, as a city, what are we willing to trade for that impact? Like, what do we need to make sense? What do we need to make sure doesn't happen for the people, especially the immediate surrounders of that data center? Like, have a situation that's mutually beneficial for everybody, if possible, So that's what I meant.
But so one of the things, by the way, all of what you're saying, I think the legitimate concerns.
Okay.
Markley has, well, I think the cost of progress is we better find a way to fuel these data centers. And ultimately, I think that's going to have to be nuclear. It's going to have to be probably natural gas, nuclear, whatever solar and wind can give us in Massachusetts and in Lowell. But ultimately, we better pray technology, and maybe AI is the technology that finds the solution to take batteries to a level. And I by the way, I do think it will happen at some point, because I think Elon Musk is a brilliant guy, and Elon Musk is hell bent on proving that batteries and solar and green energies are where it's going to go. He's a brilliant guy. So all you lunatics scratching up Teslas because you hate Elon Musk, he's on your side when it comes to.
And China's already doing that. Like, China's already doing this stuff. Like, there's like, we're behind. Well, I mean, they need energy. Like, the whole one indisputable thing is like, we're gonna need the energy to power these things.
Correct. There is. Remember the space race. Remember the arms race with the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
There is an AI race right now that if the United States loses and China wins, our whole way of living is in trouble. Right.
Well, but
so we need these places. How do we fuel them?
Well, can I just real quick though, Lowell, because everything relates back to Lowell. So I think I might have talked about this already. I don't know if it was on the podcast, but Lowell does the carbon nanotube research, and that's a possible way to
well, they did, right?
They still do, I think.
Didn't they stop that pilot program? Didn't it end? Are you talking about when they were drilling out?
That's the geothermal.
No, that's geothermal.
That's
Oh, okay.
So it's a way to, so like right now the limit of chips is based on, I think it's a silicon, right? So you need to find something that can be smaller than silicon, or you can use smaller than silicon, and it's these carbon nanotubes. So there's a possibility that you can, as that develops, the goal is to have you can store more data in a smaller chip, and so you can
and less
reduce
energy use.
Well, so more data in a smaller thing, it'd be less energy.
Higher efficiency.
Right, and so Lowell is on the forefront of that, which is pretty awesome.
Nanotechnology.
It's nanotechnology.
Good
Carbon.
thing UMass Lowell has a chancellor who that's her field.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's what the solution is.
When I'm trying to tell people that Lowell is at the center of this global debate and innovation that we're going to need to move forward, we really are. Between UMass Lowell, all these companies coming into Link and Markley, they're all linked together. So we got to find a way to coexist with Markley while mitigating the concerns that neighbors have. And I want to applaud you, Michaela, because that's the tack.
What's happening
Well,
today?
we've had a lot of conversations about this.
Yeah, you're taking the right
and
approach.
that's the tack you're taking. I fear there are certain people in the environmental movement across the country and the world, and I'm going to guess here in the city of Lowell, based on some of the opposition I heard that wasn't coming from neighbors, but from people who don't live there, whose thing is we're stopping this at all costs.
I haven't heard that. I have not heard that we're stopping.
You're
this at
looking
all
for a
costs.
solution, and as such, the article in the Lowell Sun said that you've invited the Markley Group to the next Sustainability Council.
Well, no,
or you want to invite them.
I don't think that was in the article, but I am just someone that is kind of like learning about this as I go. So it's kind of just developing an understanding, working with, at the last city council meeting, Markley, the city councilors encouraged Markley to work with our sustainability division, who's like more than capable in like doing this and like very good training, very good background in this to ask all the right questions. Right. So I feel confident that will hopefully happen. But as that develops, I'm learning a lot of things myself.
So it's not set up yet.
No.
Have they shown a reluctance in the past to work with whether it's the Sustainability Council or Catherine Moses or whoever from the city is
Markley
for this stuff, or have they been willing to?
I think this was the first time it was like proposed on them. So I can't speak to whether or not they've been receptive to that or not. But I think, it said in the article, like there was a meeting that happened. So they are having discussions, which is like very, very encouraging. So I hope something good comes out of that.
Because somebody had reached out to me after seeing the article, and I wanted to clarify.
Oh, really?
They said that, your buddy Michaela is trying to stop
No, I don't
the
think.
Markley Group. And
I never read it that way.
Oh, this is the first time here. I'm not,
So, yeah, I
knew this was going to get me in trouble. I also had nothing to do with like this article being put out. Like Melanie Gilbert has been doing very good reporting on this whole thing.
The press. We're bad people.
Well, no. It's all publicly available information.
I read it like you were. I read it like you were looking for solutions, though, not being an obstructionist, but being cooperative.
Correct. And I will.
That's how I read it.
Michaela and I, who differ on a lot of things on this issue and on climate and whatever, we had a long conversation about it Saturday night. And you are legitimately somebody who has learned a lot, but you're not looking to fight a battle to stop something. You're trying to find a solution, trying to find ways to be able to move forward. And your thought is everybody can be happy.
Right. Mitigate the impacts of having it there. Like there's a lot of things that I've learned. I didn't realize you hear, they use a lot of energy. Then when you actually look at the figures, you're like, holy shit. Like,
you see the
28% of the entire city is from my calculation.
The Department of Energy and all these other global things are telling you, like even in England, that chart I sent you, which was talking about, what did they call, they didn't call them terawatts or whatever. What did they call quads?
Oh, quads. Yeah, I'd never heard of that.
That's how, I guess that's how the Brits.
my quads are burning right now.
A model that was recently done said that by 2035, with all these data centers being built, it will account for 7 to 12% of the world's energy consumption.
It would be a lot more by 2050.
Yeah,
it's too bad. In Lowell, though,
it's crazy what's coming, and I don't know. I'm not sure the
and we don't know.
And
we don't know the effects. And the fact that Markley has been in Lowell for 10 years now, this is an opportunity for us to really like learn from like, what are the impacts? Like, and this could be like a good study. Like, what are the impacts? What are some best practices we can learn about and adopt?
Who do they work with? Why do you have to? I'm sure there were people back in the 1840s who said these mills running the water from the Merrimack River was destroying the environment.
It did. They blocked the migration of all the sturgeon and whatever.
Sure, it had an environmental impact, but it didn't stop, and it didn't stop progress. And eventually, they found a different way to power them and whatnot. I think the same thing's going to happen with data centers and AI and whatever.
We have to pay attention and learn from mistakes, though, too. Like, we have to.
So where would they site the nuclear power plant in Lowell?
Well, no,
Isn't there one? There is one.
You know what Lowell needs?
There is one. There's a tiny one.
For research.
But what Lowell needs, if Lowell had a hydro dam that produced
electricity. We gotta buy that back from Enel.
Can we just like, what a dump, like.
We should never have sold that.
There's a fucking hydro dam here.
We should never have sold that.
We never had it, did we? It was always Boot, I think.
Boot or Enel or whoever.
Yeah, we never owned, like.
Enel owns it now and Boot does something.
No, it's someone, well, yeah, but like.
What neighborhood should we site the nuclear plant in?
I think you put it right out by Collie.
I'm betting
they take a long time. They take a long time.
No, it'll be right next to the
from Baker.
It'll be right next to the rendering plant.
These nuclear, they take a long time to build. So like this isn't like an immediate solution here either. So like we got to figure this out.
I smell a future show.
Where to
put the nuclear power plant?
You use that. It's a great use because people really are upset that they might drain the reservoir up on Christian Hill. If you put the nuclear power station right there, they can use that for the cooling.
So you're saying use the reservoir for a nuclear power station instead of for a 1,000-unit condos?
Or a splash pad, yeah.
All right. On that, before we piss Kim Scott, I'm only kidding about the nuclear plant self-lul. But you know, if we have to do one, it's going in your neighborhood. Be short transmission lines to Markley. We can't say goodbye. The Pod Squad cannot say goodbye with a little bit of uplifting, without elevating all of our spirits as we head into the weekend. A segment that we like to call the Hondros Hug.
Yeah.
By the way, we need a sponsor for the Hondros Hug.
We'll get one. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Vacation next week.
Huggies.
This is my mission.
I'm working on it. Huggies. We'll figure something out.
I think this would be perfect for the cat cafe.
Oh, cat hug.
Forget the cat hug. We have a Hondros.
There you go.
Or like a dog grooming place, maybe, because dogs give good hugs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Old majors.
Or like a dog rescue. Anyway.
Oh, the Humane Society.
Yeah. Oh, that would be. You think I've already knocked on that door?
This hug only lasts for 5 days.
Oh my God.
August 8th, what is our Hondros Hug?
So the data center discussion kind of feeds into this Hondros Hug. Like I'm trying to, the goal is to listen to everybody, like take a stance of listening and hearing concerns from everybody to make the best informed decision that you possibly can. And recently, I went to like this whole like lecture series. George Mitchell was he negotiated the Irish
Good
Friday Agreement, right? Thank you.
He also found all the steroid cheats in baseball.
Yes, and he's also on
yeah.
Actually, that's Senator George.
That's the same guy.
She's hobnobbing with like the 1%.
I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, she's in Bahama.
Well, I guess he's also on the Epstein list, which is probably not very good.
Mitchell is?
Yeah, apparently, and he's on the flight logs or something. But anyway, a common theme from a lot of the people that spoke is that like instead of when you're having a conversation or like trying to like lead or the goal, like what makes like a good person is your ability to listen, give someone else the space, whatever. So in our lives, I'll just say it's try to focus more on listening and holding like a good space for people to kind of like give their whole opinion and all that stuff, and I feel like your relationships will improve. Listening.
Positive note.
Listening.
Through you to the maker of the motion, can I add an addendum to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
While we're listening, even if we disagree, let's always try to seek solutions.
Yeah.
Rather than, trying to sabotage something because we don't agree with it. Is there a way to get it done? What is Tom? I'm going to get accused of waving the golden pom-poms here, but what did Tom Golden always say when he was a state rep? How do we get
2 more years?
How do we get to yes?
28 more years.
Yes. How to get sometimes
You think he's going to still be an effective city manager and visionary when he's 85 and still serving?
Oh yeah, listen, that's when most politicians just get started nowadays.
That's been the normal. That's been the normal track. Been the normal track. And sometimes it takes a while. Like the George Mitchell was like, it took him 700 meetings, 700 days of like meetings over 6 years to come to an agreement. So just be patient.
Be patient. Look for solutions instead of
What does Tipper say though?
stopping. He used to always say, how do we get to yes?
Oh yeah.
Like I know you don't want to do this. How can we get you to say yes?
That's effective.
How do we get to yes?
How do we get to yes?
Michaela says it in a much more loving way.
Yeah.
But she's looking for ways to get to yes.
Well, I will say, just to pat us on the back, is that even though we have, our off-air text messages, there's definitely an element of trying to like one-up and entertain a little bit. But I definitely like a lot of it sparks a lot of like.
We only try to one-up and entertain off air.
Yeah, well, that's true. But like.
I wonder who I'm pissed off with something you said this time.
Probably nobody. But no, like you do a lot of research. You look at, like you hear it, you sit on it, you ruminate, and then you kind of adapt. Like it is important to talk to people that don't have the same opinion as you.
I tell people all the time, best political conversations I have are with this lady.
Yeah.
Same here.
And honestly, what do we agree? What do you say? 75% of things we generally are in agreement on, or maybe more.
And I think you'll find that with a lot of people that think differently. Like a lot of people want the same. We're all the same species. Like we're all the same.
Humans.
We're just different.
Best conversation I ever had like that was talking to Uncle Paulie, right? Your cousin. And I was coming from here. He was coming from here. I was coming from there. And when we broke it all down, we pretty much agreed on everything. It was just hard to get there.
2 Christian Hill guys, but you were on the top of the hill. He was more in the middle. You guys didn't let the Greeks up.
No, I was on the back of it. I was on the Drake side. I was trying to get away from the train.
Did the bus come up your way?
It sure did.
Oh,
All right. Mike Bacigalupo, Michaela Hondras McCarthy, Batch and the hyphen. Together we are
Pod
the Pod
Squad.
Squad. All right, we're going to be apart for a few weeks. I'm going on vacation. Danielle's doing next Friday's show, and then we're going to take a full week off on the Pulse. But
Nice.
we're going to come back bigger, better, stronger, and more live.
Liver.
oh,
Shall we
Liver.
say in
Liver.
September?
that's very exciting.
So maybe we get a chance to do a little live interaction, some live feedback as well.
Great.
Nice.
Phone calls, text messages.
You gotta get Dennis Canny back.
I saw him at the folk festival.
I just scratch that.
No, I saw him.
I like tape.
It was great. I hadn't seen him in a while. I think it was with Rocky Finney and him, just shooting
great.
the shit. It was great to see him.
That's great.
He's still got it, man. He's still got his
does.
fastball.
He still does. He still cares. Very much so.
Some of the best unintentional comedy of all time.
We did have fun in the golden
Oh, yeah.
days, back when radio was relevant.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this week of the Daily Pulse. We'll be back next week. I don't know what the hell I have scheduled for you on Monday and Tuesday. I'll have something for you. Danielle McFadden will sit in on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but it is the Daily Pulse, the show that keeps its finger on the pulse of Lowell and the world around it, and it drops every day at noon on InsideLowell.com. You can also get it on our YouTube channel, Facebook, audio downloads on Apple, Spotify, whoever you get your podcasts from. It's InsideLowell.com. Check it out. Everybody, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Not that many summer weekends left. My kids are going back to school 2 more weekends from now,
Oh,
and
my
they're going
God.
back to school. Enjoy it. Stay safe. We'll see you on the other side.